It is January 1938, and the world is still largely at peace. The great German state is enjoying parades of cavalry troops marching through the city of Berlin. Brave boys, perhaps a relic of the past, but nonetheless sparkling in their brilliant uniforms. In Africa, we have the conflict between Abyssinian and Italy has fairly quiet conflict, more of a Cold War as opposed to an active and aggressive struggle for survival. In the Chinese state, we see peace between the communists and the Kuomintang forces as they learn to live with each other, and even their neighbors, the Japanese, are living at peace with everybody. It is only in the nation state of Spain that we see conflict, and even that is set to die down in the near future, with only perhaps one final struggle in eastern Andalusia before all is settled. Welcome all to the Fortress. My name is Jinx, and we're now looking at turn number 4.1, January of 1938, for the German turn. So before we get started, let us check the time. Here we are. It is 10:34 p.m. on Friday, November 25th. I intend on showing a timestamp at the end of the video as well. Alright, so as you know, we like to roll for the tech at the end of the video, if at all possible, and so let's go right to our build chart. So I've taken the liberty of putting the build chart over here, or at least so it's roughly facing north. This turn we are building 10 bucks worth of self-propelled artillery, an infantry upgrade to motorized, and we're getting our free infantry in Berlin. From 34 minus this amount, we are getting 23 IPP left over. So I'm going to just bump that down right now. No Lend-Leases is going to our Spanish neighbors because they seem to have tidied up their battle altogether. Let us take a look at combat moves. So we do have some combat occurring, although as far as I can gather, it is just over here in Spain itself. We're having this infantry from Western Andalusia come across to Eastern Andalusia. From Madrid, we have another infantry and a fighter attending that battle as well. From the north, from Catalonia, we have an artillery joining the fight. Cavalry from the Basque Country moving 2 spaces through the mountainous territory. And from Galicia and Leon, the same story to Eastern Andalusia, as well as the fighter is attending there as well. Yeah, I've made a bit of a mistake. There we go. There they are. Moving aircraft in this is a little bit hinky at times. I find it very strange. So I'm going to get rid of this stand. And that is what combat is occurring. Now, I've set up the battle right here, and we shall go ahead and roll for it. So we have here fighting into the mountainous territories, 2 fighters at 6, infantry at 1, infantry supporter at 2, artillery at 2, 2 cavalry at 2. On the defense, we have 2 infantry at 5. That should be 4. 2 infantry at 4. There we go. And a militia at 2. All right, so I'm going to first roll for the artillery in their first strike. Let us see what we get. Miss. So far I have no successes with first strikes for artillery. Okay, here we have, I'll just grab these dice right here. Give them a bit of a shake. Oopsie daisy. I think I might need to zoom out a little. Give them a bit of a shake and throw them down. Let's see what the results are. So there's a couple 3s on here for my fighters, and everything else is too high. So 5, 9, 9, 9. 3 9s and 2 3s. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so 2 hits on those guys. And we're going to roll for the defense here as well. So the green is a 2. Everything else is going to be rolling at a 4. Okay, so no hits there. So the opponent is going to take off his casualties, which will be his militia and his infantry. And on my end of things, I can throw this dice into the mix. We only need 1 more hit to succeed in our attack. So I'm going to just roll all this here. And at the same time, I'm going to roll a gray dice as well. So here we have a fighter hit at 3, another one at 3, and everything else misses. The entire rest of the batch misses. And over here we have 1 at 3. So that infantry goes down fighting and takes off one of our units. And we're going to say it takes off a cavalry. So that will be left here. So that concludes the battle for Spain. So at this point, we need to clean up the map a little bit. I'm going to just remove this cavalry. The fighters are going to land back in Galicia, Leon. And that is it for that. So let me remove this, duplicate this. Boom. that concludes that fight. I believe now I remove all the other Republican units, so a coastal submarine right here is taken off the board, as well as these 2 militia get removed off the board as well. I will change these roundels out at a later date, but right now we'll just keep this right here. So we're moving on to the non-combat phase. Now, non-combat, we are going to land our fighters here in Galicia Leon. Then we are going to go to M2, which is right here, with our German units. And these guys here have movement value of 3. They have no access to a port here, so they can just move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So they move from M2 to I5, which is in the Red Sea. There we have it. Red Sea. Okay, it's kind of crowded here. There we have it. These guys are on the desert, but you know. Next up, we have an A35, which should be right here. So we have a few units that are going to make a move. Now, an A35, a torpedo boat destroyer, and a transport, they're going to move 3 spaces because they now have access to the shipyard here. Because we won the fight, we can now use the movement bonuses from all the bases. And we can also go in port, if I understand the rules correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. 1, 2, 3, and we go in port into Catalonia. That is a German torpedo boat destroyer and a German transport. Likewise, we're going to take the opportunity to move the Spanish heavy cruiser and transport to that same area. 1, 2, 3, and end up in that port. Next up, we are going to be moving we did A35, an A23, which is our coastal submarine. It's going to move back to A11, just in a short little jaunt, a little practice training simulation, and that's all they did. In A28, here we are, A28, off the Bay of Biscay. We're going to move these ships, these subs, 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and they're coming down to A46. That's where they're ending up. Moving on to the next one, we have in Eastern Germany, now onto land units. So in Eastern Germany, we move 1 artillery into Western Germany. Let's do a quick count of what we have present there. We have 4 infantry, 2 airborne, 1 artillery, 1 light tank, 2 fighters, a seaplane, tactical bomber, transport plane, and a medium bomber. That's what we have in Western Germany. All right. Oh, I hope you guys will allow me. I forgot one combat move here to annex Bohemia. This artillery is moving down south there. So it's just, I keep forgetting it's supposed to happen in the combat phase. There it is. I mean, I don't keep forgetting. If you want to take a look over here, I had it listed underneath my combat moves here. Berlin, 1 artillery to annex Bohemia. All right, so that guy goes in that territory, which bumps our income up by 1. So we're looking down here at the production chart or the income tracker. We're up by 1, but so is the French, up to 8, and the British have gone up to 13, with the Germans at 23. So that's what we got going on there. And now I believe we are just simply down to the place unit phase. So I'm going to go down here, grab up all this stuff here. And I'm going to place them in Berlin for the most part. So I should have stated which unit I'm going to upgrade, but that's the unit that's going to be upgraded is going to be one that is now sitting in Western Germany. So I'm going to take off one of the infantries here and replace it with a motorized infantry. Okay, and in non-combat, I'm not sure if this is allowed, so I did leave it here. In fact, I should actually show you guys too. In my notes, I have it listed here. I don't actually have it listed here. But my wondering is, because I annexed this in a combat move, I wonder if I could non-combat move it on this stage, right? So if I can, I'm going to move it to Western Germany. If not, I will do it on the subsequent turn. It's not a big deal. All right, and that's that. And I believe that's the case. So let me double check my notes here. We placed all our units where we need to go, and now we're on to the roll text stage. And then we go on to collect income after that. So the text that we're rolling for is Airborne Doctrine, Jet Fighters, Long-Range Aircraft, and Advanced Submarines. So we're going to roll these 4 dice, throw them down the chute, and we're looking at anything above 7 is going to match our interest. So only the brown dice, and the brown dice is a new advancement here, the subs. Now, just for the record here, I'm actually keeping track of this just for my own personal enjoyment. So we're now at 8 successes. Sorry, that was a 5. So we're at 6 successes to 9 misses. So that's kind of fun. The Soviets have nothing. Japan is not doing great. The Brits are doing quite nicely. France is poor, and the Italians are doing best of all. So that's kind of a fun little way of keeping track of things. Now, we've also won the Spanish Civil War. So on this chart here, we're going to flip this thing here. Oops. Which bumps up our victory points to 4. I believe that is all that we get right now. And that concludes... I believe that concludes everything except for collecting income here. So we're collecting 23, so that brings us up to 46 bucks of income. And that is everything. Thank you all for watching. Cheers. I forgot to roll for one thing, and that is a roll for Spanish recruitment. If you note, it's down here. Roll for Spanish recruitment, place in Galicia, Leon. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for that right now. My apologies. So I'm going to grab this green dice, throw it down here, and quickly remove these guys out of there as well. So I need a 6 or less, and we got a 1. So that's fantastic. Now I believe I can choose still the same deal of 2 militia or 1 infantry. And I don't have any militia. I know here's one. I'm going to place 2 militia, and one of them is going to go... I think I'm going to actually put them both in Galicia, Leon. Yeah, that's what we'll do. 2 in Galicia, Leon. That is what we're going to do. Actually, you know what? Let's throw one in Catalonia. Just because. Just because I think it might be interesting. Okay, everyone. That concludes... Yeah, that concludes everything. Sorry, I was debating if I should switch it out for an infantry or not. But that concludes all of our actions. Thank you all for watching. Cheers.